December 9th, 1965. A quiet winter evening in rural Pennsylvania is about to become the epicenter of one of the most explosive cover-ups in American history. What I'm about to reveal will shatter everything you thought you knew about UFOs, Nazi technology, and the lies our government has been telling us for 60 years. Picture this moment. Families across 6 states are settling in for dinner when suddenly the sky erupts in brilliant, unnatural light. This isn't lightning. This isn't a meteor. This is something massive, metallic, and clearly under intelligent control, streaking across the heavens at impossible speeds. Thousands of people witness this object as it blazes a trail from Michigan to Pennsylvania. But it's not just the size that terrifies witnesses, it's the way this thing moves. Making calculated turns, adjusting its trajectory, defying every law of physics as it descends toward the small town of Kecksburg. The impact, when it finally comes, shakes the ground for miles. But instead of the explosive crash you'd expect, there's an eerie silence that settles over the snow-covered woods. Something has landed. Something that will change everything. The first civilians to reach the crash site discover something that defies explanation. Nestled in a ravine, half buried in the frozen earth, sits an object unlike anything in human experience. It's metallic, dark bronze in color, shaped like a massive acorn or bell, roughly the size of a small car. But here's what makes your blood run cold. This thing has no visible seams, no rivets, no obvious means of propulsion. And wrapped around its base are strange, hieroglyphic-like markings that seem to pulse with an otherworldly energy. James Romansky, a local volunteer firefighter, is among the first to touch this object. Years later, his hands still shake when he describes that moment. The metal was smooth, almost warm despite the December cold, and the air around it crackled with an energy that made every hair on his body stand on end. This wasn't space debris. This wasn't a weather balloon. This was clearly manufactured, a product of advanced engineering that shouldn't exist on Earth in 1965. But here's where this story takes a terrifying turn. Within hours, not days, not weeks, but hours, the United States military descends on Kecksburg like an invading army. Trucks, jeeps, flatbed trailers, and personnel in hazmat suits swarm the tiny town. They establish a perimeter with military precision that speaks to months of planning, not a spontaneous response to a meteor crash. Witnesses report seeing soldiers with Geiger counters, men speaking in hushed German accents, and equipment unlike anything in the standard military inventory. The object is carefully covered with tarpaulins, loaded onto a flatbed truck under armed guard, and driven away into the night. Its destination remains classified to this day. But the military's response reveals everything you need to know about what they found in those woods. This wasn't a recovery operation. This was a retrieval mission for something they'd been expecting, something they recognized, something that absolutely could not be allowed to remain in civilian hands. The cover-up begins immediately. Photographs are confiscated. Witnesses are visited by men in black suits who make it crystal clear that discussing what they saw could result in serious consequences. Local police reports mysteriously disappear from official files. The media is fed a story about a meteor that left no trace, an explanation so ridiculous that even the reporters struggle to write it with straight faces. But the people of Kecksburg know what they saw. Margaret Thompson, 17 years old at the time, watched from her bedroom window as this object made its controlled descent into the woods behind her house. The impact shook her entire home, and she'll never forget the strange symbols she saw etched around the base of that craft. Symbols that would haunt her dreams for decades, symbols that she couldn't possibly have known were identical to markings found in the most classified Nazi research documents from World War II. For 60 years, the official story has been a masterpiece of misdirection. First, they claimed nothing crashed at all. Then they admitted something fell from the sky, but insisted it was just space debris. Later, NASA acknowledged that an object had indeed crashed, but refused to identify it, citing national security concerns. Each version of the official narrative contradicts the previous one, which is exactly what you'd expect from a cover-up of this magnitude. But what if I told you that the truth behind Kecksburg isn't about visitors from another planet? What if the most terrifying UFO incident in American history was actually something far more disturbing, a piece of Nazi super technology that was never supposed to see the light of day? What if that acorn-shaped object with its mysterious hieroglyphs was the legendary Die Glocke, the Nazi bell, a device so advanced and so dangerous that its very existence had to be erased from history? The connections are undeniable once you know where to look. The shape, the markings, the electromagnetic effects that witnesses reported, the immediate military response, every detail points to technology that originated in the darkest laboratories of the Third Reich. Technology that was supposedly destroyed at the end of World War II, but was actually smuggled to America through a secret program called Operation Paperclip, along with the Nazi scientists who created it. What crashed in Kecksburg wasn't from another world. It was from another time, a relic of humanity's darkest chapter that had been hidden in American military programs for 20 years until something went catastrophically wrong during a test flight. The government's desperate cover-up wasn't about protecting us from knowledge of extraterrestrial visitors. It was about protecting us from knowledge of how deeply Nazi technology had been integrated into American military power. The implications are staggering. If the Kecksburg object was indeed Nazi technology, it means the United States government has been lying to the American people for 60 years about the extent of German scientific achievements and their integration into our military programs. It means that some of the most advanced technology in our arsenal today might have originated from the laboratories of the Third Reich. It means that the moral authority of American military power might be built on a foundation of Nazi science. In the next part of this investigation, I'm going to take you deep into the shadow world of Operation Paperclip and show you exactly how Nazi scientists and their experimental technologies were secretly brought to America after the war. You'll learn about Die Glocke, the Nazi bell, and other classified German programs that match the Kecksburg object's description with terrifying accuracy. Most importantly, you'll see the declassified documents that prove the connection between Nazi technology and what crashed in Pennsylvania that December night. The truth about Kecksburg is just the beginning of a story that connects Nazi Germany to modern American military technology. Once you understand these connections, you'll never look at official government statements the same way again. The evidence I've uncovered will shock you, but more importantly, it will show you how deep these secrets really go and why they've been hidden for so long. What you'll discover in the next episode will fundamentally change how you view American history, and it will prove that the most dangerous conspiracies are often hiding in plain sight.